Greetings and welcome to That Works, a DreamWorks podcast. And today I am joined by two friends of the podcast. We have ALETA joining us again.
Hello.
Get that on. Oh, not that one. There we go. Jake's not here today. If you've noticed, he's unable to be here. So I'm running the cameras, and we'll see how this goes. So I think that's on you. Say hello again, ALETA.
Hi.
Alrighty, and then we also have a friend with us today. This is HAMMY. He was on here about 3 years ago. Welcome back, HAMMY.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Alrighty, and today we are going to be talking about the newest DreamWorks movie, not as much new now as it was, The Bad Guys 2. This movie is a sequel to a very, very good DreamWorks movie that when we being me, Jake, and Dickie, talked about a couple years ago. We really liked it. When we ranked them, it made the top 10. Now it's in tears, but very good, very refreshing. I think all three of us then really, really liked the tone, the animation, the characters, or should I say, me and Jake liked the tone and the characters and the animation. I think our beloved third person wasn't as big on it as we were.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
It seems like it would very much be his vibe.
I believe he said this feels like the Rick and Morty heist episode, and he'd rather watch that.
I remember that.
Yes. This is about 3 years ago.
I remember that exchange.
Oh, wow.
And,
Don't think I agree with that.
Nope.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just remember he said that, and I was like, this is exactly in your wheelhouse. Why do you not like this? And he just... I don't understand him sometimes. Dickie, if you're watching, I love you and I miss you, but you were wrong about the bad guys. But yes, going into Bad Guys 2, I was excited. I wasn't over the moon excited. I tend to get that way about certain things I like, with not having seen them in a while.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. And then you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, I like this.
Yes.
Like what? Oh, that now I have a clip in my head from something. That's Up, where he's like, oh wait, I like dogs. That's what went through my head just now. Yeah, it keeps happening where it's like I'm not excited until I'm sitting there and it starts.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, the first Bad Guys was such a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we kind of just like watched it. It's like, oh, okay, here's the DreamWorks movie. And then I remember when I was sitting there, I was just like, I'm really into this. I really fell for it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily anticipating that. And so then when they announced the sequel and I'm seeing like posters for it, I'm like, yeah, that seems fun, but I just like couldn't envision where it would go just because I had no expectations for the first one when I initially saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to the sequel, it's like, did it need one? I'm not sure. But then, yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. I was pretty surprised when I watched this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's become its own bigger franchise. I don't believe it has a show, but I know there's a bunch of shorts and like a Christmas special.
There was a short before one of the other movies I remember watching, too. I think it was one of
It was
the movies.
Dogman.
Dogman. Yeah, that one was fun. Yeah.
So getting a sequel made sense, and of course I believe this was the short. ALETA, was it? They were
trying to get somewhere on time.
That's right. Was it a job thing?
Yeah, I think it was something like that, or they had to mail something or something like that, but they like got on the wrong side. They were trying to explain why they were late and such. So
yeah, it was like a time conscious thing, and they're all recalling how the classic. Each one has a different perspective, and it's really funny and just the like. So that actually got me excited in the moment. And then months pass, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm excited. And then when you sit there, you're like, no, this is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what do we think comparing? I know I'm jumping a little bit, but comparing the two, I would say they're very similar. Do you have a preference between the two?
Goodness.
Either of you?
Honestly, I think I almost prefer this one, but I kind of am with you where it's like they're kind of on the same level, which is very rare when it comes to like original movies and sequels, where it's like I kind of could enjoy both of them. Like if you put one of them on, I'd probably be happy either way. I'd probably, because of the characters in the second one, or maybe just because I watched it more recently, I think I might prefer this one a little bit more, but I mean, both are still great.
I think I'm compelled with the second one as I've sat on it and thought about it, and I I didn't rewatch the first one, but I made an effort to kind of look back a little more in depth at, you know, what was going on in that one and the things I liked about it, and then my takeaways of the second one. And I think if I were to put a very critical lens on it, I'd be like, yeah, they're pretty comparable with each other. I think that they have their own strengths and weaknesses, and if you put either on, I'd like it. But I think as it stands, I think I prefer the sequel more than I liked the first one.
Interesting.
I think part of that too is like it's even though like knowing their origin and seeing how they transformed from like bad to good, you know, it's nice to see them settle into like what we know they're being, like, as opposed to like it's always nice to see, like, obviously we need to know where they're coming from and everything, so the first movie is important, but a lot of times a good sequel is helping you feel more comfortable in that world. You're already familiar with the characters, and now you get to see them do the things that you like to see them do, but maybe they weren't able to do as much in the first one because of, you know, everything that was going on.
Yeah, you're able to jump right into the strengths that they had already, where the first time you're kind of trying to understand their dynamic, what each character sort of brings to their team. Now it's just like immediately in the movie. I mean, we obviously start with that flashback situation, but it's one where it's like you don't need to meet every single one. It's reintroducing you to them, and they did add a little bit, you know, I think if I'm remembering right, the Cairo heist was Miss Tarantula's first job with them.
Yes.
And so you're getting a little bit of like, hey, here's some more history about them. But it's not like we're really breaking down like, oh, here is what they are to each other. We're just kind of like going right into the fun. And I think the movie continues with that, where it's like once you're in the present timeline and they're having like their job hunt, you already know how they're going to be. And so we can kind of just get the character beats and get right into it, rather than having to be like, well, this is what we do, and this is what we've been up to, and this is where we're going. It's just like, here we are. And I think that's a lot of fun in the genre that they're operating in, with it being that sort of like almost serialized heist, crime, action comedy thing.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know for sure about the Cairo heist. I believe it's taken from the second book. I have the first book with me. Miss Tarantula's not in it. I think the second one, she's on the cover, and it's like but not in like full character design, like on, I think, Mr. Shark, and he's like making a face. I think that's the second book. And I read through this, and it's very much like very to the audience. It took me like 20 minutes to read through, because it's, you know, it's for little kids, but the pieces are there for how these movies function. It's actually a really good adaptation, because it's like, this is very bare bones because it's what it's supposed to be, and then you watch how they took elements from all the books. I think there's six or seven, something like that. And you're like, wow, that's actually really good, because they have to add a lot to make this feature length. And both these movies are over 100 minutes. So these aren't like these aren't short movies. Right. And I think the whole rocket thing in this movie comes from the last book.
Okay.
If I recall. It's something like that. So like Tarantula, I wonder if that's the second, but it might not be Cairo, it just might be similar circumstances. But like this one is less about heist. It's more about them trying to, it's like they save a cat.
Interesting.
Just like the first movie, but a little different. And then they have to like break dogs out of a pound, kind of like the guinea pigs. So you can see where it all starts. But again, it's really good adapting something this bare bones into something like this. Yeah. I did get a chance to rewatch the first movie after seeing the second movie, and I think I just sat there and went, these are really good. I hate that people are not watching these.
Yeah, because they don't advertise them very well.
They never do.
Yeah. I will say, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I kind of liked that they didn't give too much of the movie away. And there were scenes that, like, they purposefully, like, twisted, or, like, they gave them different lines. Because I remember seeing, like, certain points in the movie, like, oh, this is where this line is going to come in, and it never came up. Or, like, it was a different context or something like that. So I guess, in a way, it's kind of good the way that they did those kinds of advertisement, but they needed to do more to advertise for this movie, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Hammy, I know you're a big not watch trailer for big things, and I don't mind seeing them most of the time. I don't go out of my way
I
But,
usually
yeah.
avoid ones where it's like I'm going to see the movie. If I know for a fact I'm going to see it, I avoid the trailer. If it's one where it's like, I might see it, I might not, I'm a little more lenient still. But I did not see any trailers for Bad Guys 2 at all, but again, on purpose rather than missing it. Granted, I don't think I still ever stumbled across any either.
Right.
I don't really see many advertisements online, but I do watch a little bit of television, and I never saw an advertisement for it still.
And
so.
maybe the ones, I think part of the reason I was able to see them is because I went to see other DreamWorks movies around the time.
Right.
So a part of what I saw was other, like movies. It was before other movies because it was related to that. So that's probably the only reason I really saw any Bad Guys 2 advertisement. Maybe one on Facebook or something. But yeah, not a lot.
Another thing is when you watch live events or television, which I don't think you have cable. I know Pammy doesn't.
We do Hulu Live because Adam watches sports.
Okay, I was gonna say sports is a big thing where that's where you tend to see a lot of those like TV spots and trailers and promotional things within the game.
When it's not gambling, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only commercials I see now are ones that are attached to sports.
Yeah.
In which I do see movie trailers. I did not see Bad Guys trailers at all.
Isn't it great to see all these commercials?
I love commercials. I love being sold items I don't want. I
love being told to spend money on gambling.
I love sports betting. Sports betting's awesome. Spend all your money on sports betting.
Yeah.
It's
Sports.
Cool.
Sports. I love sports ball. Yes, I definitely watch it. Not just because my husband loves sports.
Yeah, you're in the presence of two sports people who can understand your perspective, but also do like sports. If
That's
that makes sense.
I don't
Amy?
mind
Yes.
it. It's just never really been my thing.
Yeah.
That's fair. It never was my thing until recently. But now I see a lot of commercials, but I never saw Bad Guys commercial. I see trailers for other movies that I want to see that I have to mute my TV for. But I never saw anything Bad Guys. I only ever saw a couple of the like posters at movie theaters and just went like, "Ooh, I will watch this one." I'll see it. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like it did really well at all. Did the first one actually do particularly well, though? I'm having trouble remembering if that one was very successful in the first place.
So I don't have internet on this computer to look it up real quick. I know my phone's right there, but I thought I looked up after I saw the second one that the first one had made like 300,000 300 million.
I was like, 300,000 is horrible
Yeah.
for a DreamWorks movie, if that was the case.
300 million.
That's a lot, though.
Or worldwide.
That's a lot more
But
than I
it
actually
was
would
like
have anticipated.
I think it was way under other DreamWorks properties, but it's the first movie.
Sure,
But
it's not
yeah.
Shrek. It's not going to have this like broad appeal out of the gate.
But it did. I think
Okay.
this new one is under 2.
I'm going to say on Wikipedia it says the Bad Guys grossed $97.2 million in the US and Canada and $153.4 million in other territories.
So is that like
about
250?
Yeah, it says about
Okay.
250
Okay, you were about
million.
it. You were about right.
You're
And
very
then-
close.
Then
yeah.
this one's got to be like 60 domestic, and like worldwide's got to be like 1 something. It's not good. It makes me really sad because the people who see it like it, outside of who used to sit in that chair.
Yeah.
But then so many people do not care because they're like, oh,
They
it's
don't
just
talk about
this
it.
thing. But then,
Yeah.
and this is what grinds my gears, is a good movie that came out the same year as the first one is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
People love that one,
But
man.
they go nuts.
They go crazy over that one.
And I don't understand why that gets that much love, but this one gets like the first one gets like nothing.
It's because it's Shrek.
I mean, I know that
I mean, that's
part,
why. I mean,
but the first Puss in Boots is not well beloved. Most
True.
people try to forget it, and it's not very good. And the second one is much better. And I know part of it is the whole Spider-versification of
Sure.
mainstream animated film. But when people saw that, they probably go, "Hey, it looks like Spider-Verse." So they go see it and go, "Oh yeah, it's Shrek characters, and it's connecting to things at the end, kind of." But like people go nuts for it.
I
and
also think part of
just-
it too is
drives me
something we
nuts.
felt with Bad Guys in that like the 2010s largely for DreamWorks was pretty rough. I mean, you have
You
your
do
How to
have-
Train Your
I was
Dragon.
going to say How to Train Your Dragon was probably the
You
the
got
peak.
some Kung Fu Panda earlier in there,
Mm-hmm.
but like largely, I think especially when you look at, you know,
Later
the dominance of like Pixar and Disney animated movies kind of had a big uptick in the 2010s,
Yep.
you know, like post Frozen.
Yep.
People would
Don't forget Illumination's rise.
and Illumination started to get big, and say what you will about their quality, they are immensely popular.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone's like, yeah, DreamWorks was kind of in a rough spot for a long time as a general audience member. So then when they saw Puss in Boots, and then it was good, that word of mouth spread because it's like, okay, it's established property, and it's good, and I haven't seen a DreamWorks movie that I've liked in forever if I'm like a normal person.
It just bugs me. Like, not that it is that Puss in Boots, the second one, is like that much. It's more of that one gets so much love, and then this other movie that I think is better than it, the first Bad Guys, doesn't get anything. It's like that if they're a little closer together,
Right.
in audiences. That's my whole thing. Is it just it's disheartening to see something not do as well that deserves it.
Kind of reminds me of the whole like Despicable Me versus Megamind thing back in like 2010. Because I mean, Despicable Me, the first one's a fine movie, you know.
Yeah.
But Megamind, I feel like did a lot. It's so much funnier. I feel like it did more with like the material that it had. I don't know. I feel like it's a better movie than Despicable Me. Yet Despicable Me is the thing that got better or got more attention, I should say. So.
2 words: Minions.
2 words.
Yeah, that's you don't know this running joke in movies?
Oh yeah,
Media where you say more
2 words.
or less
I am
words.
retired. yeah, like that.
I am retired.
yeah.
Yeah, that stuff. But the Minions are popular. They found the niche. They found that little. Then the niche became this exploding cultural thing. Like
Yeah.
It's crazy how popular it is.
and
still.
it's generational now. I remember being in Toronto visiting cousins, and my cousin's kid is like 7 at the time or something, and he's yelling we're at what is the place called? Boston Pizza. It's a chain in Canada, and he's like yelling, and she had to go, "Stop speaking Minion." And I remember laughing like that's a funny thing to yell at a kid in public. Just like not really yell, she's like, "Stop speaking Minion. Stop it." That kid's in college now. And that's like Minions were big then, and that wasn't even first movie. That was like post second movie.
Right.
Like we're like years into it, and now we have little kids who like it, and other people who are now not quite our age, probably closer to your age, Hammy, that were little. You were little when they started, 2010.
Yeah.
You were a little older than the younger crowd that got. It's just
Don't
wild
forget about
that,
the Minion memes.
I mean, I feel like Minions, it's not even a kid thing. I think it's like 50-year-old people love Minions.
Yes, I was gonna say that's like.
I think
the
50-year-olds are like
Facebook
the main demographic these days. I don't
Yes.
even think it's
Oh,
like
they're
little
so
kids.
quirky. They're little quirky characters.
Yeah, it's like I also like coffee and hate Mondays, and it's not Garfield now, it's Minions.
Yeah. But and another thing that in that like Despicable Me kind of overshot DreamWorks is Megamind. That's why Megamind, they tried with the sequel.
Did they though?
I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it. What do I look like? But the other one I just thought of the other day because I rewatched the movie, and it's not DreamWorks. It's Blue Sky. Rest in peace. I watched Robots because I love robots.
Honestly, that's a good movie.
And when I'm watching this, I'm realizing, okay, it's a world of like it's sentient metal things, and they run this world. That was 2005. What Pixar movie came out the year after Robots?
Cars.
Yeah, and guess what's really popular again because those youngins are now older and like, hey, remember the Cars movies?
Yeah, then when
So-
Cars came out, I kind of fell off because the movie before is my favorite Pixar movie, The Incredibles. So like going from The Incredibles to Cars was such a downgrade for
It's
me.
kind
It
of a
was like,
drop off in quality pretty much immediately.
So for me, I was like, oh. And at the time, I was like a kid. I remember being like, that's like a boys movie.
Man, they ruin everything. That's not even a joke.
I mean, yeah.
But I just thought of that the other day. It's like, yeah, Robots has like a movie and a short, and then Cars is Cars.
Yeah, they got a whole section of their theme parks dedicated to Cars Land, where you're walking around
Radiator Springs.
and human-sized.
And then you have all the questions about how the Cars world works. Like, how do
Like
baby cars?
Well, why is there a Pope car? Does that mean someone tried to
Pope Jesus. That
like isn't that the point of the Pope car in real life? Is
but that
he's
also
behind the
means
glass?
there's a car Jesus, and that means the car Jesus died on Jesus Chrysler.
It's one of those things. It gets dumber as you think about it with the whole world, because you're
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to think about it that deeply. But I know I started that tangent. I was just thinking, like, yeah, it's funny how you'll have similar movies come out from different studios, and they kind of, it's like what one of them's
They
gonna win.
overshadow the other. Here's an interesting question to pose: has there ever been from these mainstream studios like an animated series that kind of garnered a cult following way after that now people look back on fondly? Because could you see that with Bad Guys, where it's like maybe they miss out on it when it's
I feel like that's what
contemporary?
happened with Megamind. Like I feel
Yeah,
like people
right.
people didn't like recognize it at first, and then like the people kind of picked up as later on, like and like oh, going back to watch them, like oh no, this is like a great movie kind of thing.
Yeah, I have noticed that. Well, we were covering Megamind like in the thick of it getting big on TikTok, and like the meme. What's the meme where he's like, when what's her name, Roxanne is looking through the, what are those things called on doors? It's peephole.
yeah?
Is there a better name for it? I don't really like saying peephole.
Oh,
No, I think that's just what it's called.
Okay, well, she's looking through people and he's making that face.
Oh
and-
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
So like,
one.
but that was like 2021 or 2 is like
Yeah.
kind of had a resurgence, and it makes sense.
True.
You think people in college at that point were probably born like about your age, a little bit younger. And it's kind of like, oh, we have this the social media to post little clips, and here's this movie I loved as a kid, and they rewatch it and they go, this is so good. Why does no one talk about this? And it's like, yeah, why did no one talk? Like I saw it when it came out because I was in high school. I'm old, and I was like, this is great. Why is no one talking about this? Because of Despicable Me.
If we live in a just world, there will be a day when people look back at Bad Guys and go, "This was a lot of fun. This is really good."
I remember, I think I was driving to your house, Hammy, and I was thinking about the movie because I think you did you see it before me?
The sequel?
Yeah, I think you did. We watched the first one together.
No, you watched it like 3 days before
Okay.
I saw it.
I just remember I was driving to your house, and as I'm thinking about it, I was like, I wonder if like there are groups of kids seeing this that they like it, but then in like 10 years, when they're all like in high school into college, they'll start thinking about how much they actually do like these movies.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I was having a conversation with someone that we work with just before the feature came out, and they were like, sort of like, and this is a well-meaning person, this is a good person, but they were like kind of like in bad faith, just like assuming that the first movie was bad and that this new one looked bad too, and they mentioned how their joke was just like, oh, there's a lot of bad guy shooters here, like people that will really ride or die for the Bad Guys series, and they were like questioning like why it looks really dumb. And so I think it's kind of a thing where the people that do engage with it seem to really, really like it, except for Dickie, I guess.
I think if we had to like if there was something that it was competing against, the closest thing I could think of would be Zootopia. Like as far as like a current thing that's like kind of similar to Bad Guys. As
You know, that's a good point. I think that's probably why a lot of people skip it, as they probably are assuming incorrectly that it's like, oh, that's like Zootopia,
But
and
there's
it's
humans.
not.
There's
Well, yeah,
humans
but
in
if you
this.
don't see
And
the
there's-
movie, you don't know that.
and there is a sequel coming out very soon.
Yeah, this
so-
year. So, I mean, that honestly is probably a bigger part of it, where they're like, oh, it's another movie about anthropomorphic animals. But, you know, when you watch Bad Guys, you realize that it's like they're anomalies actually in the world. It's not.
Yeah,
like,
it's a
the
mixture
whole
of people and animals. Yeah, it's almost like a Muppet movie where it's like there's a Muppets in the middle of like normal human society.
Yeah, and they're, but then it's like they are ostracized for being that way, kind of.
Yeah,
But also not completely.
right. I mean, it's a combination of what they are and what they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last time I saw Zootopia. I think I've only seen it once, like around the time it came out, and
I think I've seen it once or twice.
it's okay.
I think the
Fine.
most I've seen of it since is like a lot of times it's the clip of like the howling clip where like people will test it on their dogs and their dogs will start howling or whatever, or weird people that obsess over certain characters.
Yeah,
So-
and they make them do certain things. Uh-oh.
I mean, bad guys movies are kind of prime for that demographic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? DreamWorks, good on you. You're embracing it.
Yeah.
They made the fox hotter in this one.
Yeah, they
They really went for it.
Well, what
Honestly.
did one of the letterbox things is like? It was like better and hornier was their review. I know. That's actually pretty accurate.
I actually
they
Yeah,
They really-
that scene when they're sparring, dude. Come on, dude. It's so clear what that was setting
I've
up.
heard
it's
someone
like that's
even-
here. The Black Canary, Green Arrow, Justice League Unlimited clip is like right above it, where it's like they're sparring, but are they? You know what clip I'm talking about? It's not
I don't-
subtle. It's
I don't
not.
recall.
It's
I
like
probably would recognize it if I
Yeah,
saw it. but
if I had saw the clip, I'd be like, oh yeah, but it clearly left a bigger impression on you, Jared.
well, I just watched it.
Oh, that's what they
I
all
I will
say.
say I've seen people compare Diane to being this generation's Lola Bunny. So,
Interesting.
Makes sense, I guess.
I can see the correlation. Not necessarily me co-signing it.
right,
But
right.
Yeah, and also don't forget that Mr. Snake having what's her name's head in his mouth.
that was funny. I thought that was
Kinda
good.
funny. Speaking of which, I love the interpersonal relationships you can see with all the different characters in this movie. I
Yeah.
feel like they feel very real, and then there's like the romances that feel real, like with like Susan and Mr. Snake are
Susan,
Even-
thank you.
what.
Susan, you said Susan. That's her
Yeah,
name.
that's
Thank
the
you.
name.
Yeah,
I could
yes.
not remember her name.
I know I couldn't remember it either, and I only looked it up recently because I guess her other name is Doom, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember
I did
that.
see someone when I was looking up stuff earlier. It said Doom, and I was like, I don't recall them saying that at all in the movie.
Maybe once. They probably have said it once. when
Probably
they
like in the
introduced him.
scene when they're like, "Oh,
I-
we're actually."
Yeah,
This.
but it is so funny, like how even all the things that normal people, like when she like betrays them all and she does like these low down dirty things, it just makes Mr. Snake even more attracted to her.
That was a good bit.
Honestly, it's a
I
good
really
bit.
liked that bit. That was very funny. That was a good running gag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a thing on the interpersonal relationship aspect, one of the things that I think I like more about this one than the first one is that the first one was very wolf centered.
Yes.
He was definitely spearheading the I don't want to be a bad guy anymore. And I felt like the rest of the ensemble, while fun, kind of took a backseat to Wolf and Diane.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, I felt like you got to get all of them.
Yes.
I felt that it was much more of an ensemble than the first movie. And I think that's one thing that I really like about it. Because it's very much like, oh, here's a team of people that are all these very unique personalities, these outcasts. And you really get to have it shine with their different skill sets in these set pieces, in the narrative, in a way that I thought was very rewarding
Yeah.
versus the first one where it definitely had its lane. But I like the characters interacting more and being more a part of it in this
Yeah.
one.
It's nice to have good ensembles and things. I think we've talked about this many times, how not just animated movies, a lot of modern movies tend to not like ensembles, like bigger ensembles, or they try and fail miserably because it's instead of let's create a good collective, it's let's throw a million big names for the sake of a million big names. They're trying to do like a Wes Anderson thing, but Wes's characters are like tailored to the actors and their skills, and that's what makes them work. And like this group, every single character, the voice is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I found that Piranha makes me laugh the hardest.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah.
it took a second watch of that first movie to realize, no, he's making me laugh the most. It's I don't know what it. I think it's just because he's angry, and it's that the thing from the trailers where they're talking about what they're gonna do to Snake because they think he's okay. What is it? We're gonna tear him limb from limb, and all, so then all he remembers is pain. And Wolf just, yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, we'll do the limb thing.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just angry characters like that they are mostly harmless, but there's just something about how angry he gets over something so
Yeah.
So not
And
like
I think the reason that works is because of the reactions of the other people. Like it's like if it was someone that they despised or something like that, or if it was something that they just thought, oh, that guy's weird, it wouldn't work as well. I feel like it works so well because of how they're all already friends and they already kind of know each other, and so those things are extra funny because they just kind of roll with it and they're like, yeah, that's that guy.
Also, it's it's a great joke too because I mean he's a snake. He doesn't have limbs.
that's true.
True.
I didn't even
think
about that.
It's even funnier. It's like it's all those things too.
Oh,
And it's also
layers.
like he has no limbs. You can't rip off his limbs. He's a snake. That was the part during that joke when I saw it where I was like, that's clever. And they don't dwell on it and they don't spell that out for you necessarily either, which I think it adds layers to the joke.
That's great.
I think I really love that bit.
It helps that Mark Maron is funny, and his character, like his voice acting for the character, is also
It's
funny.
great.
Like
It is great.
he doesn't sound like anyone else in the cast, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
they all have distinct, like, oh, like Sam Rockwell's voice is perfect for those characters, and especially in animation. But then like Mark Maron's is like completely different from the rest.
I also like that this series, and then again, particularly the second one because it's the one we're speaking of, but they obviously. There are a lot of the big names attached to the characters, but it does feel like they're really giving it their all. It doesn't feel like celebrity
like
phone in.
You're right. It feels like they fit the characters. Like a lot of times people will complain about Awkwafina in certain things. Like obviously there's times when she's more annoying or whatever. She's too much or what?
I was talking to the camera. Sorry.
You're fine.
I feel like a lot of her performances.
Yeah,
are,
like you could compare her performance in this to, for example, Raya and the Last Dragon, and there'd be a lot of big differences, but in this it's like she disappears into the character.
Yeah,
she
it fits so much better. Awkwafina is an interesting performer in that I feel like when she's good, she's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
But
the Farewell.
That she's.
I will say
she's
I liked her in
excellent
Crazy Rich Asians myself. That's where I first.
I did not like her in Crazy Rich Asians.
But
if I'm
but I
honest.
mean, that's fair. If she has better performances, I just probably haven't seen them. But to be fair, like she seemed fun in that movie at least the first time. Maybe the second more times I watch it, I probably wouldn't.
I think she's just becoming very popular across the board. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're not going to have hits all the time, but I do think she actually fits really well in this role. And then, yeah, I mean, you mentioned Raya. I feel like that character I really didn't like much at all.
There's a lot of problems with that character other than the voice acting too.
That whole movie is incredibly flawed. It's this close to being kind of a cool movie, and then they decide to make weird decisions. But in that one, I was like, I feel like her role is very abrasive with everything else going on. But in this one, it feels very organic and earned. And I there's not a single character or performance that I'm like, get this person away. And I feel like a lot of times with family-oriented movies, you kind of stumble upon that because they're trying to cater to a younger crowd, and so it's like, here's a character that is kind of like just annoying or really out of place.
Or
I mean,
loud
or just like thematically inappropriate. I mean, I think one that we've discussed a lot that's a very different movie, but I think it exemplifies the issue is like Hunchback of Notre Dame, where you have the gargoyles. And it's like they just clash with it so much, but it's like you can see why they have them in there.
Yeah.
Here's a serious-ish movie, but it's like it's still family-oriented. We got to give something to the kids. And I feel like the bad guys, the characters are just so interesting and work on their own that they don't need to throw in like, oh, here's the annoying comic relief doing this thing just to make the kids laugh. I feel like you get all of it. And even like Piranha's probably the closest thing.
Right, so like there's the fart jokes.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, say what you will if that's to your taste or not, but I think that all things considered, they don't feel too forced. They don't feel particularly egregious.
Like it feels adult enough, like because it addresses certain like serious adult issues, like obviously like unemployment or stuff like that too. But at the same time, it's family friendly enough that everyone can kind of enjoy it. It doesn't feel like it goes over too much of kids' heads.
It's
or
very
anything like
seamless in its what it's giving its audience. Instead of trying to be like, here's the segments, like here's the stuff for the adults, here's the stuff for the kids. It's just like you get the whole thing, and it all just kind of works out of the gate.
Yeah, the comedy itself, like you said, comes from the characters, and that's often my favorite kind, where it doesn't have to be jokes or references like some people who've sat at this table like. It comes from the interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I think it's my favorite kind of humor in movies, because I think about, like, hate to bring him up, but like some of Woody Allen's funniest movies are through the interactions between characters. He doesn't tell jokes. It's the same with like how Andy Kaufman did his humor, where he's like, I'm not a comedian, I don't tell jokes. And that's a little different, but like I find that's what I tend to like the most, is when I can just sit back and watch the characters talk.
Yeah.
But
Big personalities kind of bring it on their own. I think a highlight scene for me that really exemplifies the humor was not the first scene, but where Wolf goes to the police station and he's talking with the chief, and then they're interacting.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, who do we get? Oh, I know someone. And he keeps bringing in the different members of the crew.
And they're eating her lunch.
And how she reacts to all of their eccentricities, and that back and forth.
Like,
was a
and
lot
she's
of fun.
not, and she could be a straight up antagonist. That could have been super easy to make her just a straight up antagonist, but she feels like a real. Obviously, she's frustrated with them, and obviously she has her biases against them. But at the same time, she feels very like human at the same time.
She's so funny.
She's great.
I
She's so
love
funny.
that character, and I'm also really biased. This movie just like caters to me. This whole series, like, it has a lot of stuff I really like, and one thing I really like in other similar things is with the chief. It's like we being like the bad guys and the chief, kind of like on the same side morally and what their goals are, but they sort of are on different sides in that they're sort of adversaries and their means towards their goals.
Right, the methods, yeah.
So it's share a goal, different method. And I think that dynamic in like a thief group with the police is so fun. And it's such an interesting way to play off. And I liked the way how they did it throughout, where it's like she was against them and like, okay, we're going to work together. And then obviously things don't go quite the right way. And then it's that back and forth. And I thought that was a really good dynamic between them. Very fun.
Remind me, so there's a lot of inspiration from Lupin the Third. Like, it's easy, the way it's animated, the fluidity of the action sequences, the jazz score, the main character kind of resembles.
Yeah.
What is the name of the character in Lupin? Like, there's the person who's always chasing him. What is his name?
Oh.
It's an inspector. I think.
I mean, it's
probably
Japanese.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's. I can't remember, but like
I think it's with
the same.
I think it's with a Y. But yeah, it's that same kind of thing where it's like Lupin is constantly being chased by the inspector, and the inspector is very eccentric, and Lupin is very eccentric for different reasons, and they clash. But then a lot of times it's like they're kind of after the same thing, and then when their forces meet up to do that thing and they put their differences aside, it is really cool. And I kind of hope they still, if we do get like a third movie, they obviously set it up at the end. I hope we still get to maintain that a little bit.
Right.
I hope there's a bit more of that. And I hope they're not just like, oh, we're just on the same side now. Because I think the dynamic is so fun and fresh, and it adds that tertiary thing between the antagonist and the protagonist. It's like, oh, and here's the police, and they're kind of intermingled with it. And I like that.
It's a shame that the most recent Lupin the Third movie isn't great. But then this is kind of like these two kind of take that spot from it as like a modern.
Yeah.
Because I've not seen much Lupin the Third. I've only seen Cagliostro and the first.
The new one.
Yeah, the first. Lupin the Third, the first is the full title, right?
Yeah.
When did that come out? Is that 2019, 2020?
I think it was like 2019, and then like 2020 is when we got it in North America.
Gotcha. But yeah, that one left a lot to be deserved. I don't like the animation. That's a personal thing, just because but I felt it felt lacking because of it. There's some cool moments.
Yeah.
But I do like a good heist movie. I think heist movies, when done well, can be very good.
They're so fun.
They're a lot of fun. Absolutely. I think we were talking about interpersonal relationships. One of the things I always look for is because I'm a hopeless romantic. I always like to see how romances work out in these kinds of things. And I think this movie did pretty well in doing the two romances with Wolf and Diane, as well as the Snake and Susan. I think both of them really worked on their own merits, and it makes sense why they're together. Because there's sometimes when it just feels like movies just shove two people together just because they're the two main characters or whatever. But you really first of all, Wolf and Diane, they already are kind of building on what they have built on in the last movie, so you kind of see that. But then even in the new relationship you see with Susan and Snake, you know, even just seeing their introduction scene is like, oh yeah, it kind of makes sense that they be together. And you see and get to know her like before she's revealed to be a part of the team or whatever, and you kind of see like, oh yeah, they really do work well off of each other. So that's always one thing that really makes me happy, is when not only is there romance, but that the romance is actually not like wholesome or like just real, or just like you can understand why those two people would connect that way.
Yeah, I think the chemistry, it makes a lot of sense. I also I do sort of enjoy the will they won't they of Wolf and Diane in this one, with the external factors keeping them away and how that's bouncing off, but you can still see that they care about each other. That's a lot of fun. I think those two characters work really well together. I really liked the scene after everything went astray at the wrestling thing and he's at the payphone. If anything, I think my biggest complaint about the movie is that Diane isn't really a part of what's going on with the main cast. She's kind of doing her own thing that's tangentially related. And it is cool, and I still like that, but I wish that there was more of her with all of them, because she really only engages a little bit with Wolf in that sparring scene and that phone call, and then
she's kind of out of it for
and
a
then
bit.
She's kind of like,
she interviews the
she's like in
hamster.
it, but she's not with the bad guys,
and then she doesn't reunite with them till like the
very end. And I think it would have been cool to see her interact with more of the bad guys in the group, because again, that was the first movie. It was mostly Wolf and Diane.
The Crimson Paw.
But there's a lot of moving parts. It's the kind of thing where it's like, I wish I got more of that, but also I think that would have felt shoehorned. So it's like, you know,
and they only have so much time.
Take what you can get. And I think that even with that, it was cool to sort of see her independent at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I wish they were together, but it's cool kind of seeing her independent and doing her Crimson Paw stuff that we got alluded to, but we didn't really get to see so in depth, and seeing her in that environment was fun.
It does bring up one of my only bigger criticisms, is they put a lot of weight on the choice to keep her identity hidden with the flash drive thing. And it's a cool moment where it's like, do you have a choice to save yourselves or save her identity? And I like how they fail. I like how they still fail, and I go, oh, that's a pretty big thing. The governor has been like unmasked. And then she looks at her phone for 2 seconds, and then nothing else really happens with it. Like, yes, she's not the governor anymore, and yes, everyone thinks they're dead at the end, but it kind of didn't go anywhere. It was like it was set up to give us suspense, and it is a good decision, but then once the fallout happens, it just kind of gets dropped, and I was like, man, that's so interesting.
You don't really see any of the actual fallout from that. That's true.
I would agree with that, because also I love that scene when they're in that warehouse and they're like doing the back and forth with the upload and the magnet. Like that was super cool. And
they fail.
And when they failed, I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting. But it is kind of like, oh well, I don't need to be the governor. I think it's one of those things where it's like, maybe in retrospect we feel the consequences, because like they don't really allude to like, what's that succession of power and how does that interact with the group. And maybe in a third movie, you know, maybe the new governor is the antagonist, and then we see those consequences then. But as far as like this movie on its own, I definitely agree. It's sort of put at the side, and it's like, well, this is kind of something, but we're not going to talk about it.
There's a lot happening in both these movies, especially this one. There's a lot to juggle, so it makes sense why, pacing-wise, it gets cut.
I mean, also, they go into the climactic set piece of the movie. Literally, as that happens, she's, like, on the boarding bridge. With, what is the team called, the three of them? Did they, like, say, like, a team name? I'm trying to. I don't know if they.
They
have
might. Aren't they just like the bad girls or something?
Well, that was in the
somewhere?
trailers.
That was in the trailer.
Yeah,
Okay.
they never. I don't know if they ever called themselves that. I think they inserted that into the trailer.
And all three of them are.
See, that's one I didn't see the trailer. So when we got to
their reveal,
I had no idea what to expect. Of course, as it goes when you engage with movies, you can identify beats
like
early
the
on.
mints.
But it was the kind of thing where I didn't just be like, oh, we're going to that part I saw in the trailer. I got to just enjoy the set piece. And like, honestly, if they were just going to make Susan the first version of her and she was just kind of part of it, I wouldn't have known the difference. I mean, obviously I could predict it, but I liked having that organically. And I really do like those three characters a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're really cool. Like, it's always cool to see more unique female characters like that, because you don't always see that. Because, I mean, even in the main group, there's only one female character.
Yeah.
I mean, she's cool, don't get me wrong, but I liked how it felt like they were balancing out more female characters in this one. And they're not just, it's a girl character. They have backstories and they have these different connections with the group and everything like that. So I really do like the trio as well.
I also really like their designs are super interesting visually. It could have been very easy for them because like really prior to this one, as far as the animal characters are concerned, you have Tarantula, who's kind of like a very I don't want to say as a like derogatory, but it's a simple design. And then you have Diane, who it's like a little reductively, but like the sexy fox design. And it could have been very easy of them to effectively copy and paste the sort of like traditional kind of on the more attractive fox style for female characters. And I like that it's like really diverse and interesting visual designs. I really like the snow leopard. Her build is very interesting visually and plays off that, and you see that in the party heist when they're trying to get the bracelet. You see how those play in, and with the wrestler, she was really cool. I really liked how they have that diversity in that character design to really make them pop and feel
and it
unique.
really works as they're like with their animal forms too. Like it feels like it works because I feel like they do something pretty well, kind of like what BoJack does with their animal characters. Like they use some like animal characteristics to express their emotions. Like not just obviously they have the eyes and a lot of very human aspects to them, but I think for example, like in the interview scene with Wolf, there's a part where he realizes that it's the bank that he stole from. His ears kind of go back and kind of shrinks down. That was this bank. Like it's not just the human stuff. They incorporate some of those animal characteristics into those animals too.
Yeah. The three editions were all great. I like how the dynamic between the two groups during that heist isn't as much they're forced to as much they're enjoying this again, and then the three ones they admire them, so it's kind of like they're all excited as they do this. That was a really fun heist.
I think that's my favorite set piece in the movie is that heist, because I love heists. I think they're so fun.
And they kind of fail again, but they
improvise, and I like seeing a ragtag group with their own special skills, utilizing all of their special skills to complete that goal, and then improvising on the spot. And I think that was the most fun set piece. Seeing
everything play out first and then getting the explanation later is a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
because you're as surprised as everyone else is there at first, and then you get to see, oh, that's how they did it. So it's still you get a lot of really cool things with that.
It's a criticism that, not to dog on Dickie a lot, but he criticized the whole, but actually I did this, which is what Snake does at the end of the first one, where it's like, well, actually I switched the two before we started, and it's like, and it annoyed him. And I remember thinking, like, it reminds me of being in college and people not understanding how a whodunit works.
Yeah.
And it really bugged me because we were supposed to watch Death on the Nile, the 70s adaptation with Peter Ustinov, and I'd never seen it. And I watched it that weekend, and I was like, this is great. It's fun. We're all mostly in one location. All the characters are fun. It's a lot of recognizable names. And then when you get to how he explains how it happens, of course it's the most, like, unrealistic thing. That's how these work. It's supposed to be not what can rationally happen, it's what could happen. And we get into class, and the professor opens it to the group, and people are just, it's like scathing. They're like, well, that was unrealistic, and that was this, and he's trying to defend it, but not really. He's just kind of like, well, that's how the genre works. And people are like, but it felt kind of like silly. It's like, do you like escapism?
I think
like, what are we doing?
I think it's
Like,
really sad
yeah, a
when
lot of
people want
reason-
realistic. I think it's like your favorite movie shouldn't be with the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I think that's
Like
lame.
that's kind of the point of movies in a sense, is to do something or to go somewhere that you like, or to escape from the world. Like what Jared was saying, it's like escapism. You know, I don't need it to be 100% realistic. Like it needs to make sense within the world, but you know, at the same time, like I want that spectacle. I want to be, you know, like surprised in some way, like or be impressed. You know, that kind of thing.
And there's nothing wrong with realism in movies, of course.
Right.
Sure.
It's just certain movies, it's like you're watching this to have fun, and you're dogging on it for the wrong things. Like, for Death on the Nile, you could probably point to some of the pacing. You could probably point to other things you don't like. But you're getting on, like, something that's, I believe, in the book.
Yeah.
It's the same with Murder on the Orient Express. People do not like the reveal of that one, and it's like, but I think that's kind of how it is. I could be wrong, but the newer movie does it different from the older movie and the book, I believe. But I think what's actually going on is the same, and it's like, that's such a great twist. Like I don't understand why people get so upset about movies like that, but then when they watch Knives Out, they go, isn't this amazing? Which I love Knives Out. I really like and I'm excited for the new one, but I do hate how it's like those are exempt, but then these other whodunits don't get any love because it's like, that's unrealistic.
It's kind of like your complaint with Puss in Boots and Last Wish and this one. Like people like are praising the heck out of Puss in Boots and Last Wish, and then they're like overlooking this one. And it's kind of the point of what I was saying before. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be real, because trying to compare something in a movie to our world doesn't always work, especially if it's animated or depending on what the genre is. But like to a certain extent, it has to make sense within the world, because sometimes there are movies that will try to go too far, or just that will be way off beat or something like that, and it just doesn't even make sense in the universe that it's in either. So it kind of needs to strike the balance of being realistic to the world, but also having some fun or some spectacle to it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because they definitely do set up what makes sense to them. I think probably the standout thing for me, and an aspect I really liked, is in that same heist, they have like the disguises, and it's like, oh well, who couldn't tell that the guy's a shark now? Yeah. But they make it in universe. It's like, well, that's how it is. They're just like, they're masters of disguise, and then that fits the heist for just that fun escapist. But it's also funny for the audience, and you can kind of, it's not so much an indictment on like, well, that doesn't make sense that they wouldn't know it's a shark. It's funny in that it's like, the viewer, obviously knows that's the shark because it looks ridiculous. And I get to kind of enjoy that and have fun
and
with
that
it.
he's like over the top with all of his stuff too.
Yeah, and it's like nobody's catching on to that, and it's like that's part of the fun, and then that's what makes it so exciting. And it also, it's playing off of classic heist movies. I mean, Mission Impossible, where they're pulling the mask off, and it's like that's unrealistic, but it's played very straight, and it's kind of the same thing, but now it's being played for laughs in a very fun way.
Yeah.
It always gets on me. It's like they don't argue certain things, but then they get really mad at things that don't matter.
Yeah.
It's the suitcase in Shallow Grave. Well, where'd they get the money? They allude to a heist. Well, where'd they get it? It doesn't matter. That's not the focus of the story. Well, where'd they get it? As a college story. Someone would not let the professor
But
talk.
I want to know.
I need to know. It's like, oh my gosh. Why? You're a film student? Oh! That was one of the most annoying days of school. It was like, shut up. You can ask the question. Just shut up if you keep asking the same stupid question. Like, just stop.
It kind of reminds me of like the problem with the live action Beauty and the Beast, because it feels like there's a lot of things that the original Beauty and the Beast kind of put out there that you didn't really question, even though it didn't necessarily make sense. But then they tried to answer those questions in the new movie, and it just ended up not working very well, or just felt awkward and that kind of thing.
Like they're shoehorning in. It's like, no, guys, we know too.
No,
Like,
guys, we get it. You guys complained about this. Look, we know,
Right?
we
Look
listened to
at-
you. Look, that kind of thing. And that wasn't the point.
And then adding in, teaching a girl to read isn't one enough is so fun. I hate that movie. I hate it so much. But it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a snark world now. And I think, you know what? I think that's one reason why I think this movie's refreshing, because I feel like it's sort of kind of pointing at the things that people snark about, but rather than kind of being like winking at the audience like, oh, we know this is ridiculous, they're kind of playing with it in a way that lives within the fiction, which is something I've been really admiring in a lot more mainstream stuff that's doing it. They correct me if I'm misremembering, but isn't like the thing they're looking for, they call it MacGuffin night?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
And that's something for the audience to be like, because I saw this with my partner, and I mean, she didn't catch it. I mean, she didn't laugh at that at all, but I heard it. I'm like, that's funny, because I'm aware of like storytelling tropes, and I'm getting that treat. And it's less about like, oh, do I need to rationalize it to myself? More that it's like the filmmakers are playing with the form in a very engaging way that the audience can now feed off of. And we don't need it to make sense, because you get it, and it's a vehicle for you to get these great moments.
It's fun too that it was like weeks after the Naked Gun reboot came out, and literally the device he has to get, the acronym spells out plot. It's the plot device.
That's funny.
And I go, it's simple, stupid, but that if you've watched the Naked Gun movies, that's how they function. And seeing these two movies, I think someone even on Letterboxd said watching these as a double feature is wild. It's like, it's just fun. It's nice to have fun movies again. It's a shame no one's seeing this. Like,
Yes.
it's the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, man, I'd easily watch that again.
But don't you remember, Pixar says no one wants original movies anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you said is cool too, because it's like, I feel like so many people nowadays are so obsessed with the like, let people enjoy things, things can be fun, but then we're getting something that is genuinely fun, and then they don't go see it, and it's like, I don't know, like what do you really want?
Yeah, it's like if we look at Marvel, Thunderbolts came out, and everyone who saw it, me and Jake and Nick, who are on here, talked about, we all liked it. A lot more than we thought we would. Well, Nick would have liked it no matter what. But
Dang.
because it's this thing, just we sat there like, yeah, this is really good, and it's not making as much money as these other ones, and it's a shame, because it's good. I actually kind of want to watch it again someday, which I hardly ever say that about Marvel movies, because they tend not to be
And that's the
rewatchable or that
problem.
fun.
Is that people are so, they have that, they're so tired of Marvel at this point that they're just like, another Marvel movie, they just kind of lump it in with everything else, and they don't want to try to catch up. They don't want to have to worry about like, oh, am I going to understand everything because I have to have watched these TV shows and these movies and all these things. So people don't really want to go see new Marvel movies unless it's like a brand new movie or like a complete reboot, like something like the Fantastic Four. Like that feels new. That feels like something like anyone could kind of get into without seeing everything Marvel related.
Yeah, which was good. I did enjoy the new Fantastic Four, which the other two surprisingly weren't as big on it as me.
I haven't seen it
that's
yet,
rare.
so I can't say.
Yeah, that's rare on this podcast for a Marvel movie to the person who likes it the most is me. So like we're getting stuff, and I don't think Fantastic Four did amazing. It made money back, but
And I mean, not
comparatively.
Disney money.
Yeah. But here we're getting new, like Bad Guys 2, we're getting new things that are fun and enjoy, and people just don't care.
Yeah.
It seems like, which is a shame. There is, I mentioned earlier, deviating a bit, there were only like two big things that I had, and one was Diane's side of the story, and the other thing was, and it's not as much of a criticism of what we got, and it's more of a what we didn't get, and I try not to linger on this too much, but, and it feels like something that got cut late in the screenwriting. There is a moment where they're going to leave after the middle heist, and they talk about how much, and like someone says a line about how much they actually miss being bad, and he sits there Wolf does for a moment and thinks about it, and that's before they all get knocked out again. And I remember thinking, like, that's a really interesting thing that they set up in the first act, because they are trying to be good, and they are getting nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's actually a pretty real. It's a really good thing of like they're doing the right thing and they're losing because of it.
Yeah.
And then here we are setting up a potential like choice to be made, because it's like, oh, every time I try to be good, I get knocked down. But if I do the thing I'm really good at that I just did and remembered how much I enjoyed, it makes me feel good. And then it just kind of gets dropped.
I do understand what you're saying, and I disagree with you. And I think it's maybe because I know, if I recall correctly, your big thing was like, oh, I feel like there's not much character development in this compared to the first, which I think is partially true to a degree. But I think that moment in particular plays off of what to me feels like the development is like the movie is about the self-actualization of what they want to be. And the beginning of the movie, they're trying to just fit into the norm, and it's not working for them. They then do the heist and remember it and enjoy it, and then they're prompting themselves to make a choice of like, oh, do I want to be a bad guy? But then when they get tranked and they're in this dilemma situation of like free yourself and hurt someone that you love or stay stuck, is maybe not so in your face, but kind of making the choice for them, and they're realizing like this isn't what we want, but they like to utilize their skills, and that's what we see when then they go back with the chief and then do the heist, and it's like they like to have the action, they like to do the things, but they do not want to be bad anymore. I think it's maybe not super upfront. I definitely think it's played a little more subtle, and maybe they could have used a couple extra scenes to really drive that point home. But to me, that's what that is. It's like the choice was, it's not so much that they made the choice, it's that the choice got made for them more than they realized, but not in a way that like I think was forced upon them by the screenwriters, and more than that the situations around them made that choice and they realized it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think because it was made for them, and we don't have time because of how much we have to do yet, it got cut. I bet you there was an early draft where they have another couple moments, like when they're all dangling, because they kind of just do the right thing right away instead of contemplation or discussion. And I feel like that nails down what they set up in the first act, but it gets cut because we're already all over.
And maybe
minutes.
that's true. I still think it captures the spirit of what they were attempting, at least to me. But also I think I have a lower expectation for those moments based on what they've set up, and I enjoy the sort of serialized format they seem to be going in, where it's like each thing's sort of contained. Like you don't even need to see the first movie to enjoy this one, I don't think. I think they catch you up fast enough and you can just enjoy the antics. And so maybe I'm a little bit lighter on it as a result.
You saying I can't enjoy this movie?
Yep, that's what I said. Jared can't enjoy this movie. I said
that. No, but I liked what you said about how like that the when they get in that moment of the magnet and the USB, that shows what choice they're actually making, because I think that's a really good way of like being kind of subtle about it, but feeling very natural at the same time. Like we get to see that they don't have to spell it out for us. Like, I am choosing to be good right now. They're just like, no, we care about this person, so we want to help them, which shows that the transformation is natural, not that they were forced into it.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where my point is at, where it's like the choice is made for them, not so much in that like it's made for them in the script, but it's made for them in their actions and what they're doing and how they felt the whole time, and them just sort of recognizing that they don't want to be selfish anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It might all stem back to there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
There is.
I think that's
and they're trying to get to that rocket ship scene, and that's a very long set piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
That shot, long. The shot that's in all the trailers, it's like of them jumping with the sun behind them.
Looks good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
That animation is so good.
The animation style is very cool. I do like it, and it works for this world and these characters very well.
That final set piece is just honestly magical. I love it. I think it's so them like scaling up the rocket ship and then them struggling.
They're going the wrong way.
Yeah, that's a good bit. And then they get on, and then I love when they're in space, and it plays off what I mentioned earlier, where it's like I like this one because I get to see more of every member of the team doing what they can do, and I love that we have here's 4 different perspectives during this final set piece of oh, you're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and it's all culminating towards something. And I like being able to see their character traits play off each other, their skills come across for that goal.
Yeah,
it's so fun and it looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've caught flack from people about because again I keep comparing it to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because when you come out the same year and I love one and like the other, and it's the inverse for most people. And I think I went and said something like, oh yeah, I think I prefer the animation of Bad Guys, and they kind of went wide eyes I didn't say it was better or worse. I have issues with Puss in Boots' blending of the two. It's okay, this is a moment for the old 2004 Shrek models, and then we do the really cool, beautiful animation, and then we go back, and then we go out and back in. But I think for Bad Guys, it's the stylization fits the world a lot better, and that's my personal take on it. And I'm not trying to drag Puss in Boots: The
Jared
Last Wish.
hates The Last Wish.
I don't hate The Last Wish.
He hates it.
I hate how it gets way more love than these.
Right.
I wish they both got a lot of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my take about the animation, though. Is I think this is more consistent. I don't know how you make movies this good on an animation level, and people other than the people who actually see it just do not care. It breaks my heart.
It's because animation's seen as a children's genre, unfortunately, even though it's not a genre.
Yeah, what was the thing your mother said about Spider-Verse all those years ago that you told me about?
Oh my gosh. It was back in early 2019. So I think the first Spider-Verse was kind of at the tail end of its theatrical run. And my mother, she asked me what are some good movies out right now? And I was just yeah, this new Spider-Man animated movie is really good. It looks great. It's a lot of fun. That's probably the best thing that's out right now. 'Cause it's January. It's no good movies are out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm not going to pay money to go see a cartoon. And then she went and saw Aquaman, which is borderline a cartoon also. It just has a couple real people in it, and it's way worse.
Yeah.
And it's just
an hour longer.
Yeah, and it's just emblematic of just how people see animation. And it's yeah, I mean, a lot of animation is definitely family oriented.
Right.
I don't think that necessarily takes away from it. And I think Bad Guys, as we mentioned earlier, I think caters to its general audience really well, where you're getting a bit of everything for everyone at the same time, rather than it feeling segmented or pandering, oh, here's the joke for the adults, here's the joke for the kids. It's kind of all in one place, and it's great. I really like this movie.
Yeah,
I think it's so good.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah, we'll see if it gets any love during award season. I doubt it, but because the first one didn't. But I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's probably gonna get too much.
Especially since it's a sequel too.
Yeah, I do hope we get the sequel for this one. I mean, they obviously set it up in the tail end in a way that I think is cool. I mean, to set up the spy thing, makes a lot of sense. I think that's the natural progression of these characters, is to sort of then go on sort of a spy parody thing, and it seems like Diane would be more a part of it, and I'm hoping that they get to make it, and then we get to maybe get a movie for a trilogy.
There's also 2 very funny jump cuts in this. One of those is when they're making their descent, and it's okay, are we going to get a big sequence where they land this thing, and it just hard cuts to their funeral.
That was a good.
Oh my gosh!
I
that was funny.
Because I knew they didn't kill him, but I'm I can't believe they just did that. They just cut us short, straight to organ music, their pictures, and I also like the at the beginning when it's it's in the trailers, but I'm never driving another car, and it just cuts to that, and I love the music behind it. And then I love the guy behind him. Nice carbon footprint, jackass. I laughed really hard in the theater.
Yeah, that was good. I love a lot of the car bits. I like there's the scene when they're riding in the car. It was right after they were with the chief, and then it reveals that Shark's been pushing the car up the hill the whole time.
Yeah, it's good.
And the phone.
And he throws the phone.
It's
Yeah.
That was our only phone. That was good. And then when does it fall apart? I don't remember when it falls apart.
Sometime around there, I want to say. But maybe it was during the chase after the wrestling thing. I can't remember.
They jumped into a food truck after
That's
the
right.
wrestling
After the wrestling thing, they jumped in the food truck. I want to say
another fun set piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. What was I gonna say? Oh, there's one more thing I just had on my mind and I lost it. It's the setup at the beginning with it's an oil guy, right? In Cairo.
Yeah.
And to have him come back in during that other heist so he recognizes him.
That's a good setup.
That was really good.
Good setup and payoff there.
I liked that a lot. That was very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And he was funny.
He was funny.
Like a lot of the characters, just funny. I also like seeing Shark as a preacher with the keyboard.
Yeah, and
Craig Robinson
that was
plays
great.
keyboard in real life
and that's
too.
Craig Robinson's great.
Which he's so good as Shark too. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those. That's him talking, but like you don't think about him. You think about the character. And it's the same for Anthony Ramos, where it's like that does and doesn't sound like him because when most roles I've seen him in, he's not big energy. So when you see him as this mad little fish,
right?
It's just such a
because
group.
like one of the big characters he's known for is being in Hamilton is just being this kind of like like you said, not as like energetic per se, but
But he's a poet. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's him, right?
Yeah.
He's not afraid to show it. See, I've seen it once, not in person, just the pro shot.
And kind of the same thing with Craig Robinson. Like people, if they recognize the voice, they would just instantly think of The Office. That kind of thing.
I mean, that's what I thought I did think of because there are many times on The Office where he's
playing like the Dunder Mifflin thing.
Yeah, or the answering machine thing where they try to get all their names. There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
I think
but it is cool. That he it's incorporated that into his character.
For me when I was watching it the whole time, when Susan was on, I was like, at first I was like, who is that? And I was like, is that Natasha Lyonne? And I was like, maybe. And then I was like, wait, is that Holly Hunter? Because she kind of has that like Holly Hunter twang in there,
that drawl.
And I was like, is it Holly Hunter actually? Because I felt like I got that more after it was like the twist.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was the credits, I was like, okay, which one was it? And then I was like, oh, it wasn't Holly Hunter. It wasn't Tasha.
And then it was Danielle Brooks as the cat. What is the cat's name? The leader of the three of them. What is her name in the movie? I forgot everyone's name.
Gracious.
It's harder when they're not named after the animals. Unless they are named after the animals.
Honestly, genius stroke to make the main team just Mr. or Miss,
Kitty Cat,
whatever they are.
Kitty Cat. Yeah. Okay, that's Danielle Brooks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it's Maria Bakalova.
Yeah.
It's Pigtail.
Pigtail. Yeah.
So they're close, at least at the very least, if they're not directly the name of
Susan.
It's close.
Mm-hmm.
Or Doom, I guess.
Doom. I guess except for that one for some reason.
That one's still weird.
For some reason, Doom. I guess because she's like a raven, and that's supposed to be like reference.
She's a raven.
She's like a dark bird of prey.
Oh, I thought she was like a vulture or something.
She's a dark.
Oh, it's not
bird.
okay.
Definitely not
it's
a
not
vulture.
A vulture. What do you want?
I don't know all birds.
It's a corvid for sure.
It's so funny because
that's a car.
We were just watching Peacemaker last night. Adam and I were, and there's a guy who literally said he has bird blindness and can't tell the difference between birds.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't.
a real
So
thing.
you have bird blindness because he thought like this big eagle was like a duck or.
Okay, I'm not that dumb.
No,
I'm not that
no,
stupid.
no,
Is that what
you're
you
in this-
think of me.
Are you editing this one? This podcast? I want you to put on the screen a picture of a vulture and a picture of a crow or a raven, any corvid.
And the actual character.
And I want I want like vulture, raven,
and
character.
boom,
and
it's
I
her in
want
the
you to be
middle.
like,
I wonder which one she is.
Have you seen a vulture in your life?
Even in cartoons. You've probably seen them in cartoons. You've seen Snow White,
They
right?
have wings. They have beaks.
Is there a vulture in the original Jungle Book?
Yes, there are three of them.
Yeah.
They're like the Beatles.
There's 4 of them.
Like the Beatles.
Like the Beatles.
So you know about the Beatles Jungle Book vultures, but you think this one's a vulture?
She looked like a vulture.
Yeah, because you know how their heads, they don't really have a lot of feathers on their heads.
And they got long beaks.
The Jungle Book is not real it's an animated movie. That doesn't help.
Actually, Jon Favreau made a live-action rendition in 2016.
Or no, we talked about this in this podcast. I never want to watch that movie again.
It's real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, in real life, vultures don't necessarily have a lot of feathers on their head either. So.
Hey, that's like the character
Hey,
from the
it's Susan.
Bad Guys.
Look at Susan. Yeah. Sorry.
Doom. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something.
Cite your sources. Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think this looks a little bit more like Susan.
I'm going to agree.
Did you even change the picture?
It's like that meme from The Office. They're both the same picture.
They're the same picture. Yeah, this is such a good movie. I think when I came out of it, I was not sure how to wrap my head around everything. It's one of those, similar to the new Superman, where it's like so much happens and it moves so quick. It takes time and or a second viewing to catch more. And this one isn't as much of a catch more. It's more of a catch my breath.
Yeah.
Because it moves. And I think, again, there is a little too much going on. But it still is a cut above most DreamWorks movies. Easily.
I also don't think I would have anything I would immediately take out.
Right.
You know, I feel like a lot of movies, they do have a lot of moving parts. It's like, oh, they could have gotten rid of this.
Or I'd be like, oh, this scene again.
And
or
I feel like I agree that there's a lot going on and they're trying to do quite a bit. I never felt like, oh, this shouldn't be here.
But at the same time, if you took out any of those things, I feel like the movie would kind of fall apart because it kind of is built on all of the things that are happening at the same time.
Because even the Marmalade stuff, I was worried when he came on. I was like, oh, are we going to rehash something? And they're doing this, like, Hannibal Lecter bit.
And he's swole now, as the kids say.
And I liked the Connect 4 stuff. That was funny. But I felt like it worked. And it's another thing where it's like, I don't think I would want that gone.
You want to play a game.
It does add more to the movie that now you have to kind of reckon with.
And now that we know that he's an alien, apparently.
Oh yeah, that was like, oh, I guess he is.
Which is still confusing because there are other guinea pigs in the first movie.
Right.
But they're not like.
But they're normal guinea pigs.
Yeah, they're not. They're
not
pets.
anthropomorphized. Whatever. It doesn't need to make sense. They're chasing MacGuffin night for crying out loud.
And they go into space.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it makes sense in the universe. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense in our universe.
True enough.
Yeah, well, do we have other thoughts we want to bring up about The Bad Guys 2?
If I could just be, only other thing I wrote down here is just specifically Pigtails is just adorable. I just loved her character. She's very cute.
Yeah,
very
I like
adorable.
that character a lot.
I just loved her a lot. Anytime she was on screen, she's like, oh, I love seeing her. So
I like the juxtaposition that the characters have. Those mainly the two, where it's like, okay, we had like the one version of Susan, and then we got like the actual like heist one. But then with Pigtails, it was like, oh, here's this like menacing person we're fighting, and then for her just to kind of like geek out about it.
Yeah,
that was a fun juxtaposition. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's nice to have two muscles, as they call those character types, but they're very different types because like Shark is the muscle, but that's not his primary role in the group. So when you introduce someone who more is muscle, it works.
Isn't his role the shark from the first movie that he is the master of disguise like that, which is again great
kind
bit.
of twisting, when
he gives birth at that gala.
Fantastic bit to make the most visually strange big guy, the one that like no one can recognize. Very funny.
Don't forget the Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. When Shark tries to put on a mustache. Is that, oh no, nope. Do you remember that?
A little bit, yeah.
I can't repeat what he yells.
It did kind of remind me. Yeah, the shark in this movie did remind me both of that shark and then the one from the Harley Quinn show a little bit too.
There's a shark in that show.
I imagine it's
the
same character.
As in the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
The one you were just
Harley
talking
Quinn's
about.
also in both.
That's right.
Yes.
I don't know why. I remember that part of that movie.
I was like, you were just talking about the movie and
I know.
character.
I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. She knows a shark?
Does he have shark blindness too?
Yeah. Do all sharks look the same?
Actually.
Hammerhead.
True.
Anyone have any other thoughts on The Bad Guys 2 they'd like to say?
I just like it a lot.
I really like
I
it.
think it's so fun, and it's one, again, I opened with, I wasn't really sure what to expect with a sequel, but it was sort of just like the first movie where I kind of went into it, and I was surprised by it and enjoyed myself, and as I've continued to think about it since I've seen it, it's just grown on me more and more. I really enjoy these characters, and it to me is a big, fresh air that I'm getting from it. And I like it a lot. I think more people should engage with it, and I'm hoping that maybe it can kind of amass that cult following as it continues to age.
I agree with Amy. And I think one thing I'll say is, like, this movie is a roller coaster in kind of the best way possible, where you just kind of go in, you don't know exactly what to expect, but then you kind of have a fun time the whole way through. And then you just kind of come back and you're like, that was a great experience.
Yeah.
I'd love to come back and do that again, kind of thing. You love all the characters, you love all the interactions that the characters have. The setups are great. The different skill sets and how that it all plays out throughout the movie is great. I think there's a lot of things to love about this movie.
Yeah, I want to see it again.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Rewatching that first one too, like 3 years after seeing it the first time, I was like, I knew this was good and I liked this, but I forgot how much I liked this. And then that was right off watching the second one, so it's like, I'll take 10 of these. Just keep going. Just
Make
keep
it into a
going.
TV show if you need to.
Actually,
honestly,
it would work really well
I
as a
feel
TV
like
show.
With
honestly.
the way they have it already, where it feels serialized, if you just even gave them 20 minutes to have a set piece or like a job, or even like
or
in
just
between
focus on
jobs,
a singular character for each episode, that kind of thing.
I think there's it's such a fluid concept that you can just play around with and do different things with.
Yeah.
That I just want to see more of these characters more often.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if those are our final thoughts, I'll get us on out of here. But until then, for our socials, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the Funny TikTok, and Twitter. Take that, Musk. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring that notification bell. Make sure you check us out, rate us on all those apps, and swing by our groovy website. I want to thank you both for joining me, ALETA. It's always fun to have you on the DreamWorks and Pixar episodes.
Yeah,
Hammy, thanks for stepping in for Jake this time around.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
Great to have you again. It's been 3 years since you were on here.
Crazy.
I know. So hopefully we can get you back on here again in the future.
Yeah, this was fun. Never having met you before, I had a good time with you today.
Yeah, great conversation.
All righty. And with that, how do I end this again?
Bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
These start hurting.
I was gonna
after
say,
a bit.
these
Yeah,
things
these are.
hurt,
I think
dude.
it doesn't help if that I have clips in my hair too.
I was like,
Oof.
man, this is I'm starting to feel it.
Ugh.
Man, you get big leagues and all of a sudden you have no fun. You don't want to come up on the fly with a 31-year-old curmudgeon and then fill in the blanks for us.
No.
Well,
Or I could be Jake today and she could be Dickie and we just like act as how we think they would for the
Nah.
podcast.
I don't want to act like Dickie. I like being me.
That's good.
It's a good message.
Yeah.